All right, so you know how every new year we get that new year, new me kind of vibe?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, in this deep dive, we're going way deeper than all those resolutions.
Oh, yeah.
Using this video you sent over from Daateku channel.
Oh, cool.
It's called How to Be a Better Version of Yourself in the New Year.
I love that.
We're done with the vague promises this time. We're finding real solid advice.
I like it.
So what I thought was so interesting about Daateku channel's approach.
Yeah.
They don't just give you a list of things to do.
Right.
It's like a framework.
Yeah.
A real structured way to actually grow. And, you know, you love to learn new things.
I do.
So this is perfect for you.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So let's get right into it, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
They start by talking about looking back on the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 3 questions.
Okay.
And I want you to really think about these as we go through them.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one.
Yeah.
What were your biggest achievement this past year?
Oh, good question.
Don't be shy. What are those moments you're like, heck yeah, I did that?
It is easy to forget about those wins, you know,
Totally.
when you're always hustling and bustling.
Right, right,
But this isn't just about celebrating, you know?
right.
It's about, like, understanding what you're capable of.
Yeah,
It's like using what you already know you can do to build a foundation for future goals.
I love that. Yeah, building on those wins.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they ask, what challenges did you face and how did you handle them?
Okay.
Now, this one might take a little more thought.
Yeah.
It's not about dwelling on the hard things, right?
Yeah.
It's more like, how did you navigate those obstacles?
You know, when you really analyze how you approach challenges in the past,
Uh-huh.
it can show you so much about your strengths.
Yeah.
Did you keep going strong?
Mhm.
Did you ask for help?
Yeah.
Did you get creative and think outside the box to solve problems?
Oh, yeah.
Those are all such valuable insights to help you understand how you grow.
So insightful. I love that. Okay, so the last reflection question.
Okay.
This is the one that really sets the stage for the rest of their advice.
Oh, okay.
They ask, what habits or behaviors do you want to change?
I like that.
Right,
Yeah.
because that shows what areas you're hoping to improve.
You've got to be really clear about where you want to focus your energy.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And that brings us to Daateku Channel's advice about setting smart goals.
Yes.
This is not just about making any resolution. It's about making them specific,
Yes.
measurable, achievable,
Yeah,
relevant,
right.
and time-bound.
And I know we've all heard of SMART goals before, right?
We have.
But I think it helps to have a real example.
Absolutely.
So you've mentioned you want to learn a new programming language.
Yes.
Instead of just saying learn to code,
Right.
which is kind of vague,
Yes, super vague.
you could say complete an online Python course by the end of March and build a simple web app.
Okay.
So much more focused,
Oh, yeah.
actionable. And that's what the SMART criteria is all about, right?
It is.
It gives your goals that real focus
Yeah.
so you don't get lost in the sea of information.
Laser focus.
Yeah, exactly. And that time-bound element, that deadline keeps you on track.
Those deadlines are crucial.
Yeah,
Especially for someone like you who loves to learn new things quickly.
totally.
That time constraint will really help you stay motivated
Oh, for sure.
and prioritize what you're working on.
Makes all the difference.
It's like that extra push to make it actually happen.
Exactly. So we've got the stage set with reflection.
Okay.
Our roadmap is those SMART goals.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about what we do every day to create real change.
Okay.
Daateku channel really emphasizes developing good habits.
Yeah.
But it's not about suddenly changing everything overnight.
No.
It's the small, consistent actions over time that lead to big results. And they use this really cool analogy like compound interest.
Okay. I like that.
So think about it like this. You start with a small investment, and maybe at first the growth is tiny,
Right.
but over time that growth builds upon itself
Yeah.
until you get this huge return.
Okay.
It's the same with habits.
Oh, I see.
Those small daily choices.
Yeah.
Taking the stairs instead of the elevator, meditating for 5 minutes every morning.
Right.
They might not seem like much at first,
Yeah.
but they really add up.
It's all about those small choices adding up over time.
It's all about the little things, right?
It is.
And you love those aha moments.
Good.
It's not always about the big showy changes. It's about recognizing that those seemingly small choices have a huge impact on your life.
The ripple effect.
Exactly, the ripple effect.
I love that.
I'm amazed by all you do. I'm amazed you came through for me. Even in my darkest moment, Baba, you lit up my world. I'm amazed by how you care. I'm amazed you're so full of love. You've been good from distant past, and yet you're still doing good. Obinigwe, Obinigwe, Obinigwe. Every day you come.
Welcome back. Glad to be continuing this exploration with you.
I'm glad to be back.
So last time we were really getting into Daateku channel's self-improvement framework. We talked about reflation,
Right.
smart goals,
Yeah.
and the power of those small habits.
All those little things adding up.
Exactly. And now I think it's time to explore some specific strategies and resources you can actually use
Okay, I like that.
to bring these concepts to life.
Yeah, I'm making it real.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since you love those aha moments and actually applying what you learn.
Absolutely. So where do we start?
Well, Daateku channel talked a lot about lifelong learning.
Okay.
They suggested reading books, taking courses,
Yeah.
and finding a mentor.
Okay.
Which of those really stand out to you?
Oh, for me, it's definitely books and courses. I'm
Okay.
such a visual learner.
Right.
So having something tangible to go back to really helps me remember the information.
I totally get that. And luckily, there are so many amazing resources out there.
There are.
So think about the areas you want to develop.
Okay.
Are there any authors or experts you admire in those fields?
Absolutely. There are a few authors whose books on personal growth and productivity have really changed the game for me.
I love that.
I'm always looking for new strategies and techniques to try.
That's great. And that's what's so cool about books and courses.
Yeah.
They often have that structured way of learning, breaking down complex topics into smaller steps.
Right?
Plus, with online platforms, you can find courses that fit your interest and learning style perfectly.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You mentioned liking aha moments.
I do.
So maybe look for courses that have interactive exercises
Okay.
or real-world examples
Yeah.
to really make those concepts come to life.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I learn best by actually doing something. So those hands-on experiences are really helpful for me.
For sure. And, Daateku channel also mentioned finding a mentor.
They did. I've never actually had one officially,
Yeah.
but I can definitely see how having someone who's been there and done that could be really helpful,
For sure.
especially for navigating challenges.
Yeah, a mentor can provide guidance, support, and even keep you accountable,
Oh, that's a good point.
which are all so important for growth.
Definitely. And mentorship doesn't have to be super formal and structured. It could be as simple as connecting with someone you admire on social media, or reaching out to someone you know for advice,
Yeah.
or even joining a community of people with similar interests.
I love that, keeping it flexible.
Yeah. Because life isn't always a straight line.
No, it's not. And
Yeah.
speaking of flexibility,
Yeah,
Daateku channel also talked about building strong relationships,
they did.
and they emphasized effective communication and empathy as key skills.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's brilliant. They talked about communication and empathy as skills you can develop,
Yeah.
not just things you're born with.
Right?
It means we can all work on being better communicators and more empathetic people.
Totally agree. So where do we even begin with that?
Well, active listening is a game changer.
Okay.
Think about it. How often are we so busy thinking about what we're going to say next
Oh, all the time.
that we don't really hear what the other person is saying?
Oh, yeah.
Active listening is about ignoring those distractions,
Okay.
making eye contact, and really focusing on understanding the other person's perspective.
It's like giving them the gift of your undivided attention.
Yeah.
Which is so rare these days.
It is.
With all the distractions we have.
Exactly. And it's not just about hearing the words.
Right.
It's about paying attention to their body language.
Yeah.
Their tone of voice.
Mm.
It's about reading between the lines to really get what they're trying to say.
And I think when it comes to expressing ourselves clearly, we really need to be careful about our tone and the words we choose.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, even with good intentions, our message can get lost.
For sure.
Especially when we're writing where we don't have those nonverbal cues.
You're so right.
Ah.
I've definitely learned that the hard way a few times myself.
Well, me too.
Taking that extra moment to think about how our words might come across can make a huge difference.
It really can. And remember, communication is a two-way street.
Yes, it is.
It's not just about saying what we think. It's about creating a shared understanding. And that often means asking clarifying questions, rephrasing our thoughts, or even just acknowledging that we hear and respect the other person's point of view.
I love that. So we've got active listening for understanding.
Yes.
And clear communication for expressing ourselves.
What about empathy?
Well, Daateku channel highlighted empathy as super important for strong relationships. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's about putting ourselves in the other person's shoes.
Okay.
Trying to see the world from their perspective, even if their view is totally different from ours.
Right.
It's about recognizing that everyone has their own story, their own experiences that shape how they see things.
You know, it's funny. I used to think empathy was just about feeling sorry for someone.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so much more than that.
It is.
It's about understanding, not necessarily agreeing,
Right.
but making an effort to connect with where someone else is coming from.
Exactly. And that can be tough, especially when we meet people whose beliefs or values are different from our own.
For sure.
But those are the times when empathy becomes even more important.
I see that.
It's about finding common ground, respecting differences,
Yeah.
and trying to connect on a human level, regardless of those differences.
It's about recognizing that shared humanity,
Yes.
that we're all in this together, even when we don't agree on everything.
And sometimes empathy also means setting boundaries.
Oh, that's an important point.
We can practice empathy and still acknowledge that we don't have to put up with behavior that hurts us or disrespects us.
Right.
It's about protecting ourselves while still trying to understand the other person.
And that's where self-compassion comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Because navigating relationships can be messy.
It can.
And we're all going to make mistakes along the way.
We are.
Daateku channel really emphasized being kind to ourselves throughout this whole process.
Yes, self-compassion is essential.
It is.
It's about realizing we're all human. We all have flaws, and that's okay.
Totally.
It doesn't mean giving up on our goals or settling for less.
Right.
It means treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a friend.
So how do we actually practice self-compassion?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, be kind to yourself.
Right.
But what does that actually look like?
It's about noticing that inner critic,
Oh, yeah.
that voice that's always judging and criticizing, and choosing to challenge those negative thoughts. Instead of beating ourselves up for mistakes,
Right.
we can see them as learning opportunities.
Yeah.
We can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How can I do this differently next time?
It's like turning that inner critic into an inner cheerleader.
Exactly.
Someone who's rooting for us even when we mess up.
Yeah, and it's about recognizing that we're all works in progress. None of us are perfect.
True.
And that's totally fine.
I like that. And that brings us back to Daateku channel's final point. Staying committed and deflexible.
Yes.
It sounds like a contradiction.
It does.
But it's actually a really powerful combination.
It is. It's about finding that balance between having a clear vision of what we want to achieve and being willing to change our plans when life throws us curveballs.
Right. Because unexpected things happen.
They do. So how do we plan for the unexpected without getting discouraged or giving up entirely?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is.
How do we stay focused on our goals without becoming so rigid that we break when things don't go exactly as planned?
Well, one practical tip is to break down big goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay.
That way, if something unexpected happens,
Yeah.
you can adjust your timeline or approach
Right.
without feeling like you've totally failed.
So it's about having that big picture vision, but taking it one step at a time.
Yes,
Knowing that the path might not always be perfectly straight.
exactly. It's like navigating a maze.
Okay.
You have the end goal in mind, But you have to be willing to try different paths,
Yeah.
backtrack if necessary, and celebrate those small victories along the way.
I like that analogy. It reminds us that the journey itself is part of the process.
It is.
And it's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about being persistent, resilient, and adaptable.
I love that, because the only constant in life is change.
So true. And that brings us to something Daateku channel didn't explicitly mention,
Okay.
but that's at the core of everything we've talked about.
What's that?
Purpose.
Purpose. The why behind wanting to grow and become better.
I'm really excited to explore that.
Me too, because when we connect our actions to a bigger purpose,
Yeah.
it's like we unlock this incredible source of motivation and resilience that helps us stay on track even when things get tough.
I can see that.
So the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we'll explore how to find that sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And how to align our goals and actions with what truly matters most to us.
Amazed by how you care. I'm amazed you're so full of love. You've been good from distant past, and yet you're still doing good. Obinigwe, Obinigwe, Obinigwe. Every day you come through for me. I had no essence, had no meaning, Lord. You showed up for me. What did I do to deserve this kind of love? What did I do to sit at your right hand? What did I do to deserve this kind of love?
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into becoming better versions of ourselves.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've covered so much.
We have.
From smart goals to lifelong learning to building strong relationships. But now we're getting to the heart of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Purpose.
It's fascinating. You know,
Yeah.
Daateku channel really focused on the how-to of self-improvement, which is super valuable.
Absolutely.
But the why, that underlying purpose,
Right.
that's what really drives us to grow.
It's like purpose is the engine.
Yes.
And all those other self-improvement strategies are just the tools to help us steer.
Exactly. And finding that purpose, it can feel overwhelming sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it can.
It can feel like this huge task.
Right.
But here's what's interesting,
Okay.
especially for you, since you love those aha moments of practical application.
Yes.
Discovering your purpose isn't about adding more information to your plate.
Okay.
It's about connecting with what already feels right deep inside you.
So it's less about searching externally
Yes.
and more about looking inward.
Precisely think back to everything we've talked about from Daateku channel's advice. Reflecting on your achievements. Identifying the habits you want to change.
Yeah.
Setting those smart goals that match your values.
Right.
Those are all clues leading you toward a deeper understanding of your strengths and what motivates you.
Okay, I'm starting to see how it all connects.
Yeah.
It's like those reflections reveal a pattern, highlighting what I naturally gravitate towards.
Yeah.
What gives me energy,
Right.
what I want to contribute to the world.
Exactly. And that's where purpose can really grow.
I like that.
It's not about finding this big universal calling.
Right.
It's about aligning your actions with what matters most to you.
That makes sense, but for someone listening who's thinking,
Yeah.
okay, that sounds great, but how do I actually do that? How do I find my purpose?
Well, remember those reflection questions from Daateku channel.
Yeah.
Those are a fantastic starting point.
Okay.
But we can take them even further.
Okay, how?
Instead of just listing your achievements, ask yourself, what made those experiences so fulfilling?
Okay.
What skills or qualities did I use that felt truly authentic to me?
Ooh, I like that.
Digging deeper into the why behind the accomplishments.
Yeah, and what about those challenges?
Instead of focusing only on how you overcame them,
Okay.
ask yourself, what did I learn about myself during that time? What values were tested and strengthened?
Interesting.
Those tough times often reveal our strongest values.
And for those habits we want to change, how do we connect those to purpose?
Ask yourself, what values or aspirations aren't reflected in those habits?
Okay.
What changes would align my actions with my sense of purpose?
Wow, those questions are powerful. It's like we're taking Daateku Channel's framework and making it personal.
Exactly.
Creating a structure for each individual's purpose.
And here's the key takeaway as you reflect.
Okay.
Pay attention to what sparks your enthusiasm. What activities or ideas make you feel excited or deeply satisfied?
Right.
Those are clues pointing you towards your purpose.
It's like those aha moments.
Yeah.
But on a deeper, more meaningful level.
Exactly. It's about connecting with what lights you up from the inside out.
And then once you start aligning your goals and actions with that purpose, you tap into this motivation and resilience that's unlike anything else.
It's amazing, right?
It is. It's like all those other self-improvement strategies we talked about.
Yeah.
SMART goals, lifelong learning, building relationships, even self-compassion.
Right.
They become so much stronger when fueled by purpose.
They do.
They're not just about checking things off a list anymore. They're about making real progress towards something bigger.
Absolutely. Lifelong learning becomes about fueling your passion.
Right.
Building strong relationships becomes about connecting with people who share your values.
I see that.
And self-compassion becomes even more important.
Yeah.
Because you're not aiming for perfection. You're honoring your own unique path with all its ups and downs.
It's like having this internal compass.
Yes.
Guiding you toward what feels authentic and fulfilling.
I love that. And as we wrap up this deep dive, it's important to remember that finding your purpose isn't a one-time thing.
Right.
It's an ongoing journey.
Absolutely. It's about continuous exploration and evolution.
Beautifully said. And here's one final thought for you.
Okay.
Imagine yourself a year from now, looking back on your life.
Okay.
What would make you truly proud? What would you regret not doing?
Wow.
Let those reflections guide your actions right now.
What a powerful way to think about it.
Yeah.
It reminds us that becoming a better version of ourselves is a journey.
It is.
And purpose is the guide that keeps us moving forward.
I love that. Yeah. So as we finish up, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
Embrace the adventure. Trust your gut. And never stop exploring what lights you up.
That's great advice. And remember, the world needs what you have to offer.
Like
by aligning your actions with your purpose. You're not just becoming better yourself.
Right.
You're making a positive impact on the world around you.
And that's what it's all about.
It really is making a difference and having some fun along the way.
Exactly.
This has been The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.
You showed up for me. What did I do to deserve this kind of love? What did I do to sit at your right hand? What did I do to deserve this kind of love? And God said, in that when we were yet sinners, He came. When we had no anointing, when we had no fame, when we had no grace, when we had no pride, He came. Nothing to make us proud, He came. No car, nothing, He came. Have you asked yourself that question? What did you do to deserve this kind of love? Wherever you are, lift up your hands and begin to bless Him. So it's good to dance, it's good to jump around, but sometimes it's good to reflect. In 1 minute, just begin to think about all the things God has done. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. You came through for me. that sits upon the throne. What